Hey guys, how's it going? RedMaster here, and welcome back to episode of Cards and Castles Casting Conflicts. Another episode where I am back in the driver's seat today. I'm in competition. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to the casters for this event and take you guys right into match number 1.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we have Tweakin versus RedMaster here, and we have special guest, Unhelpful Yoda, here casting with me. How you doing tonight, Yoda?
I'm all right. How you doing, man?
I just got back from a really long hike, but I'm ready to see some high-level cards and castles go on.
Likewise. It looks like we got lumberjacks coming on out. We'll probably see them trade off with each other. Oh, no. You're going to see a priest to stop one of those lumberjacks from dying on the RedMaster's side.
I'm surprised to see that I think this is actually the first time we've seen a mere matchup between the players. I think this is actually the first time in the entire series where we've seen where like the idea behind each deck, I'd say, is pretty much the same.
Yeah, it's looking like it. Those hands are looking pretty similar there.
The only difference I could theoretically see is, we see that Red has another books in hand. This could possibly be an Awakened deck versus a traditional Last Will, but...
Yeah, it could. Even though you do see books in Last Will quite often, we do know that Red has a pretty strong Crusader Awakened. So this could be what we're seeing him play today.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's actually Last Duel versus Last Duel based on the general in both players' hands. At the same time, I could always be wrong about that one.
Yeah, it definitely. The general does tell a tale that we might be seeing some Andrew and some Last Will elements come on out. And both players kind of holding back a little bit, trying to stay away from each other's range to unit.
So I see Tweakin has Armory in his hand. How do you feel about that card in Last Duel? Because normally I don't really think you could get too terribly much use out of it because of your double Flamestorm kills off your own Armory.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Armory in Last Will, if that's what it is. Simply because, like you said, Flamestorm, you kind of hurting yourself when you're playing. Even Darkbender is sometimes questionable in Last Will just because, the goal is to kind of flame everything away, not really caring about if your own units take that damage as well. Darkbender's 5 health, so he should still take a couple burns before he has to go down. And there's Andrew.
Do you think we're going to see General Andrew, maybe Treasure Hunt on Darkbender here for Tweakin, or some other combination?
If he gets the opportunity to make that trade with the Treasure Hunt, I'm sure he will. But I don't think with RedMaster seeing him get it, he's going to let him get the opportunity to trade off with the Darkbenders.
I see the mischievous imp there, and I'm seeing Shaman, and I saw the Horseman. I'm thinking this might be pretty similar to the No Interactions deck. And
those were my thoughts exactly.
So I think this might be No Interactions versus traditional Last Will.
Yeah, I think you got it pegged. And Red's ready to push. He's being a little bit aggressive with his 2 flying books, so it's probably not going to be that Awakened deck, because if it was, he probably would hold those back for some draw.
I think you should be playing Andrew here.
Yeah, definitely. And I think he's thinking the same thing. Getting a little value out of the Andrew.
I think he should be killing off the first books, fearing back the second one, and then placing Salahar just to the slightly to the bottom of the Darkbender.
Yep. To threaten the other Darkbender. It looks good. Tweakin's making some good plays right now. Both players are actually. It's a pretty tight match right now. No one, I wouldn't say anyone really has the advantage because both players have good looking hands. Board presence looks pretty good on both sides, so neither player can really push in.
I think that double Flamestorm, and especially with the Andrew on the board, I think that can really spiral out of control very quickly for RedMaster if he does not do something about it. Because if Tweakin can pull something like a Fear, then it's going to be extremely difficult to fully block a big Andrew hit on Castle.
You see Flash, Tweakin just flashing the treasure hunt there. He's ready to make that trade with the Darkman. I don't like Red kind of placing the Horseman and the Shaman into those like side corners. I think he probably should have put them on the sides of the Darkbender to kind of at least threaten that Darkbender in case the treasure hunt did come out.
Yeah, and Red does know the treasure hunt is, or at least he should know that there is a treasure hunt in his opponent's hand.
Yeah, it came from Banshee, so he's seen him get it.
I think that it's going to come down to these initial trades because I don't see Red realistically winning the Darkbender War at this point. I see the Treasure Hunt coming out, a Flamestorm coming out, another Flamestorm coming out even, and it's just going to be two strong units on the board for Tweakin and nothing for Red.
Yeah, he's gonna end up having to get his own Craxus down. He really is. With Craxus and Andrew being on board, the only counter he has, I think, would be the Craxus. And I like the positioning because now he's ready to make that trade with the Darkbender if necessary and get some value out of that Craxus. So he's threatening Tweakin to go ahead and use that treasure hunt if you want to. And Tweakin has pulled back the Darkbender before placing down the treasure hunt. That's a questionable decision because he's giving up space on the board by pulling that back. It really was Red's Darkbender is no threat to really anything at the moment.
I think that he did that for the treasure value. I don't know why he did it for the treasure value, as, I mean, he's going to be at 11 next turn. He already has that deadly combo available to him of the Flamestorm Dragon's Fire. I mean, we're about to see a ton of value come out from that Dragon's Fire and the Flamestorm.
Yeah. Red, I really think that from Red's perspective, having my own Craxus down, I might have to be a bit more aggressive. He has two Darkbenders. So, he's winning the ranged unit war, and we both have Craxus, and mine's healthier. So, I'm kind of like, I'm going to want to start being a little bit more aggressive. I'm going to put a couple units really like pressuring the Darkbender, but as you see, Tweakin pulls it back even further and brings another Craxus out. What would you do in Red's position here?
I think I would have played more passively to begin with. I'm not really a fan of the no interactions deck. I hate to say it. It's one of those where I feel like it can peter out very quickly if there's any heals in an opponent's deck, and Tweakin very clearly has heals in there, and there's no aggression to be had against this double Craxus.
See, that's the thing. I get exactly where you're coming from, because the thing with the no interaction deck is really to rush. You really want to be aggro. You really want to be aggressive as possible. not caring about if you lose units. I mean, not saying you want to make the worst trades in the world, but you really are supposed to be aggressive because you have your own tools to clean up whatever's left off after you get done, just shoving things down the throat. With Red having all of his units back there, and then knowing he's facing Crusaders, he's almost asking to just lose a ton of value here with the priest and the horsemen, and as you see, there goes the first of the burns coming out.
Yeah, I don't think that was the card that Tweakin was hoping to pull. I think this is putting him in a very good position with the double Dragon's Fire, as he's going to be able to get so much board value out of it. I would have liked to have seen him play Banshee there, because even if there's a Flamestorm that comes out or a Dragon's Fire, that Banshee dying will buff the Andrew, and in the end, it'll still be a net gain for him.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I'm just gonna get rid of this Darkbender. I'm gonna blue firebolt this thing away. I'm tired of looking at it.
I think we're going to see the Kraxus trade into the Frog Prince after either Dragon's Fire or Flamestorm.
Yeah, Dragon's Fire. Ooh, that was a strong play.
If
Yeah.
Tweakin hits this order correctly, no, he didn't.
Wow, he did not. Yeah. Okay. Well, the board is pretty much clear after a lot of units being down on both sides.
So the interaction I think both Yoda and I were hoping for there is that he was going to move forward the Kraxus first. He was going to hit with the Dark Bender to trigger the resolve on the Frog Prince, put it
Yes.
where that Kraxus was, and then he was going to kill with the Kraxus, resulting in a uh, basically free 2-card draw.
Yes. That was precisely what I was thinking as well. Well, right here, the
I'm not
armory,
sure Armory's
it's going
going
to
to
get some
play.
value. It's going to get some value out of the armory. He doesn't want to let that Frog Prince in. He has to clear it one way or the other. Oh, he's going to blue firebolt Banshee. Okay.
Priest.
Yeah.
I'd wait to see what he draws.
I got a banishing strike. He's going to try to hold that for the final blow, I'm sure.
Yeah, putting that on a Arbiters is definitely a very potent combo. I have not
Yeah.
seen any healing, though, filter in for Tweakin, so for all we know, he may be running this without any healing.
And that is risky to be running Flamestorm without any way to kind of get that life back.
We see Red thinking about Drain Life here.
Yeah. Yeah, he's thinking about drain life. That actually might not be the worst play because he does have the arbiters in hand. And if he can get in, he got the incinerate as well. If he can get in, boy, incinerate. Wow, he's ready to finish this game out.
I do just like this because if he can't get the kill next turn with something like Arbiters, or double Incinerate or something, then Tweakin pulls heal, I think that's game over because all of those buffs have not gone on to any vital unit. They haven't gone on to something like a Craxus. They haven't gone on to something like a Andrew or a General, something where the buffs matter quite a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, with 5 health,
Tweakin, don't play it
with
there.
5 health, I don't think he's doing too bad.
So the issue I have with this play majorly is that now Red could take advantage of the square behind the middle square to get free damage basically on the castle. Yeah, I'm not thinking this is too great of a play here from Tweakin.
Yeah, he's just trying to block out that arbiters. A fear would be really good right now for Red.
And we
So
see a
he's gonna
trade
keep
on
the
one.
imp alive. He's gonna keep the imp alive. Uh, and he's gonna be passive with the Craxus. Put the priest out front. Something to kind of block off his castle here.
So
I'm
maybe
sure he's happy
Priest,
that
Dragon's
match.
Fire?
Yes, Dragon's Fire looks pretty good here.
Or even
But three
Craxus
health,
just to get draw.
three
Craxus,
health on his
Priest.
castle here he's pushing it. He really is pushing it. I mean, it's hard to
Oh,
block from arbiters
he should
and
have
be
played
aggressive.
Arcanon General. He would have gotten that
Yes,
double cheap draw.
yeah, he definitely should have because he had a chance at pulling some kind of heal. If he has any in the deck, like you said, he might not have any in the deck. I
I
think he has to. I think he has to take out. I don't think he can worry about holding back this Andrew any longer. With 4 health and no heal in hand, um, it's gonna be hard to kill RedMaster's castle.
Oh, he has a chance here. Let's see if he pulls an Incinerate or Flamestorm will do it.
Yep, that will be it. He's going to arbiters instead, fully heal up, and that would be it.
Well, that was a interesting mirror matchup we had there between Tweakin and Red, and Tweakin just didn't hit his heels.
Yeah, yeah. Like you said, if he had any.
If he had
Um,
any.
let's take it back to the players.
Alrighty. Hello, boys. That was a
Hello.
interesting mirror matchup.
How's it going?
Was it a mirror matchup?
It was traditional Last Will versus no interaction, but your colors were mirror. So
Right, right.
Mhm.
And until late game, when Incinerate started to show his face and Drain Life started coming out, the hands were looking pretty similar.
Oh,
You both of you had the Arcanon Generals and the Dark Benders and the Horsemen Priests. It was pretty similar looking hands there for quite a while.
I was just waiting for the burns to start coming out. Honestly, that was my whole mentality. As soon as I saw Warlock Crusader, it was just a matter of like, all right, when is he going to throw Flamestorm and Dragon's Fire at me?
Mhm.
So what would you have done against something like, say if he played that Arbiters and started healing back up? Did you have a plan of action for that?
My side?
Yes.
Oof. You see, I was essentially hoping when I started burning off Castle that Arbiter wasn't in there. I saw a lot of I really saw Andrew getting big, and that's what started to kind of worry me because I knew I started piling up riders in my hands, and I knew if I were to throw those out, he would just keep gaining stats from them. And eventually, if he just rushed me with Andrew, I would have lost.
Yeah, Tweakin.
That's what I was waiting
kept
for.
that, Andrew back the entire game.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what deck he was running it with, whether it was the no interaction deck or a last will deck. And it wasn't until, like Yoda said, late game with the Incinerary and the Drain Life that I figured out it was no interaction. And by that point, I think it was too late for me to go on the attack because we were going into Arbiter's range now, and I had a fear that that's 4 damage whenever he wants. And I'm already down a good amount of health, so I had to not only be curious about that, but figure out how can I get my units down there quick enough where they would still be alive to do damage.
Yeah, I was thinking I would like to see Andrew be a bit more aggressive at some point in the match.
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, he just ended up getting built up and didn't really make any,
Impact.
he didn't have really much of a presence in the game. That sometimes with Andrew, you have to worry about holding them back too long.
Right, right. And like I said, if I knew that what I was up against was the no interaction deck, I would have been a lot more aggressive with Andrew, knowing that he doesn't have the units and he's relying more on spell damage.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
because I didn't figure that out until the later rounds, like turn 8 or 9, it was Andrew was just too far back.
Drain life
Hmm. And I knew the combination of fear and arbiters were there, so that's why I had to kind of put my buildings, my armory, and my Taria's files on my first 2 spawners so they couldn't be feared back, and I just had to protect
Yeah,
the front 2 spots.
yeah, I did like that. I did like the arbiter you thought about. And you know what? It's getting after that incinerate and the 2 drain lives. I'm a little close in here for arbiters play. I like the blocking off of the arbiters. It just you just didn't at that point. It was like almost, how can you get to his castle and still block off from arbiters?
Right.
Yeah, that was the only thing. But good game from both players.
Certainly.
That brings up
Had me thinking a lot in that one.
It's all that matters. So if I make the opponent
Certainly.
think.
So,
Oh.
Tweakin, you have a chance now to counter Red, and we're excited to see a game 2 here.
All right, I'm ready.
Alrighty, Yoda, we're back in it now with the comeback, maybe, from Tweakin. Comeback, the closeout from Red. We'll see what we get here.
And we got Ninja Crusader.
I think this is the same deck that he brought against you last time in expectation of the no interaction deck.
It may be, and I believe he said that he put a lot of high health units in resolving to try to soak up some of that burn.
Yeah, we see that drain life. We see Shaman and Blue Fire, Frog Prince, Incinerate here for Red. And I mean, none of those things are really going to be too terribly effective against the cards Tweakin has right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Reinforce completely counters out something like Incinerate, and it gives him an additional card in hand size.
That is true. That is true. We see Shaman, so what do you think? Rat King, maybe? No, it looks like Reinforced Lumberjack.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he includes Rat King in here. Though actually with whatchamacallit, no interaction, there is no global damage cards.
Right, right.
How do you feel about that debate?
You do have Flamestorm.
Oh, you do run Flamestorm in it.
Yes, definitely, because it can do castle damage, and it can help clear at the same time. Well, I feel anytime you run a Torius fight, you gotta run Flames.
I don't see a easy answer right now to that Paladin.
No.
Never mind. Now that Arcanon General just got really good for Red.
You did. Yes, it really did. He's probably gonna see him pull it back, yeah, and bring out the Frog Prince. That Frog Prince was a pretty good play there, healing up the Paladin.
I'm still not too terribly confident in this counter, Yoda.
Yeah, well, he decided to pull a general back.
I'm not seeing any room for big damage plays against the enemy castle or that late game survival. It's just one of those where I don't think he's matching the draw heavily enough, and a lot of his units in his hand right now, while they're good by themselves, they don't have that additional oomph needed to really be impactful, I think.
And he's ready to push.
Do you think we're going to see Frog Prince trade into Paladin?
Ah, looks like he goes after the other Frog Prince instead of Paladin. So
Yeah,
how
he's looking
is
at
he
that
going to
Flamestorm.
go? Okay, Flamestorm helps, but he still has the resolve on the Paladin to worry about.
If we see something like Shadow Katana come out on that multi-strike, that could be the game very quickly here.
Yes, it could. It could be very dangerous, and he still has Pegacorn in hand, which really won't take any burn damage at all. So looks like he's going to play the monk.
I think Pegacorn played the center. I really like this because he's threatening a one-turn kill with two multi-strikes.
Yeah,
And that's not something that you see very often.
no, it really isn't.
I think
Yeah,
Tweakin may have found a pretty effective counter here.
he. I think he thought pretty long and hard about how to counter no interaction. And Red's fighting it off at the moment. Dark Bender putting in some good work for him, at least for a turn, because now it looks like he's going to take down that Dark Bender. Yep. And place a Barbarian. I disagree with the placement of that Barbarian.
Yeah, that Barbarian's
This
threatening a whole
Barbarian
lot more
is
damage than that Salahar Rider.
Yeah, and the whole point of Barbarian is to be able to shove them down your opponent's throat and tell them worry about a 5 health unit here.
So I find it interesting,
Maybe
though,
he's just
that...
trying
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying maybe he's worried about Praxis. Maybe that's the only thing I can think. Or
I'm surprised that Red is running Dragon's Fire right now. It's not a pure quote unquote no interactions deck.
no, I think he had made a couple tweaks. You can't go wrong with Dragon's Fire. It's
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 just S
that
tier.
yeah, it really is. You get great value out of it. Right
So
now, I think Red has held off the push pretty nicely.
how do you think you would have gone about countering a no interactions deck?
I definitely would go with Viking Crusader.
I would think that the Viking Crusader would be much better because you wouldn't be having to deal with the buffs as much from uh, stuff like Drain Life, and at the same time, you'd have that massive power and threat range on your units that you're just not getting here with ninjas. I mean, while there's a big threat here of one turn kills, it's not something that people should really be I mean, either expecting when it comes, and
Yeah,
looking here, there's no positioning that Tweakin can take which will effectively give him that one turn kill. He has no
yeah,
movement. He has no good multi strike.
yeah. I think he's waiting on maybe a lunging attack, but now he just took that possibility away from him. And Red throwing out the incinerate is basically saying, "Hey, I'm ready to finish this game out." This is a tough one here because he has to worry about what's that nine. Wow, it's looking like 18 damage possibly coming to his face now with 19 health on his castle. He can't bring 2 units. You know, even if he stops the heaviest hitter, which is Frog Prince,
I
that's
think
still 12 damage.
I
coming
think he has
in.
to Craxus that Frog Prince just to
He
see if
has
he
no
has anything
choice.
else.
Yeah, he has no choice, and hopefully he can maybe pull or maybe Craxus the imp and hope to pull a lumberjack or something. That's all I can really think. He's going to multi-strike. The Okay.
I'm surprised he didn't go for the backline unit, the Darkbender there, which would have been a free kill off.
Yeah, I think he just was thinking Frog Prince gonna hit for 6, Darkbender gonna hit for 4, and I want to get to another turn. But yeah, it might have been the right play because he pulled the Darkbender back, so he didn't have to worry about that damage this turn. But he still looks like he still lost here with
Yeah, I don't
Priest.
see an answer to this drain life here.
Yeah, yeah, that's game. Looks like red.
He plays Dragon's Fire, drain life.
Yep. And that was a good game for red.
Well played by RedMaster, and
Yeah.
Tweakin just couldn't quite pull it through. What point do you think Tweakin really? Do you think he started losing?
I'd probably say when red cleaned up all 3 of those resolve units. I don't think he was expecting red to be able to clean up all 3 of those resolve units
Yeah,
because he had the Shadow Katana multi-strike, I believe, in hand when Paladin was pressing in before he brought the Fog Prince, and he probably could have took the Darkbender down then. And with Darkbender, you just helped him get rid of that resolve off the Paladin, and he was able to clear up those other 2 guys. It's just he was left with nothing really on board, and Red still had like 8 cards in,
yeah, for sure. Well, you ready to go to our players and see what they think about it?
Let's do it.
Alrighty, boys. Another victory for no interactions. Red, how you feeling after that one?
I'm feeling pretty good, considering that I had an idea as soon as I saw the
Red?
I think you're good.
I could hear you.
I can't hear Red.
I lead the call real quick. How about now, Slash?
Yep, there we go. He's back, boys. Ladies and gentlemen, the
Whoopsies.
master is back.
All right, let's put the screen share back up. So the question was, how am I feeling, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, knowing the general idea of the opponent's deck once I saw the colors, I felt like it was going to be a bit tricky because, again, I knew what his goal was. Running things like Monk, Pegacorn, Resolve, making it harder for my burns to really make an impact on the game. But I felt like probably my strongest point was when I was able to clear off, I believe he had, 2 Frog Princes and Paladin on board. He kind of threw all of those out at me, cleaned them up, and then even afterwards, I think he threw like another assault of like Monk and Pegacorn shortly after. Once I kind of cleaned up that big push, I think I was able to make a counter push back.
Yeah, absolutely. After that,
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely
think
good.
Tweakin you could get too much traction there. I mean, did you expect to be able to get a win off of that initial night push, or?
I was hoping that when I played the monk, it would heal my paladin and not my castle, so there would be more of a chance for that paladin to survive, so I can get a multi-strike off. But he was able to kill all those units, and I was hoping at least one of them would survive, so I could get the multi-strike off. but that just wasn't the case. I feel like in that game, he just had a consistent hand, and he had the ability to keep drawing his spell cards, which was able to kill off all my units, like my paladin, my 2 frog princes, and him playing his own frog prince did not help me at all, because having to kill the 6-7 unit twice is painful. Is painful, especially when the opponent's running a no interaction deck. Just having that unit that is good for at least 2, maybe 3, even 3 kills is very, very good and very hard to kill.
So
I agree. I was just gonna ask Tweakin, do you have Cleric and Earth Knight in that deck?
I don't run. Here, let me check. I don't run Earth Knight, but I might run Cleric in that deck. Let me check real quick. Yes, I do run Cleric, but I don't run the Earth Knight. No.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering because there's those guys are also, if you're thinking about countering no interaction, you gotta have the Cleric and the Earth Knight. That early game, Earth Knight counters everything that could possibly come out, from turn like 1 to 4, from the no interaction deck. He maybe not be a whole lot of good late game, but he can definitely clean up a whole lot of stuff early game.
Oh yeah, having that 3 shield, having
Yeah.
to waste a blue fire bolt and something else on it, or maybe even like a flame storm and a incinerary, or even a witch bolt. That's 4 damage just wasted on maybe a 1 gold, 2 gold unit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
So Tweakin, I saw a lot of OTK potential or one turn kill potential for you there. You just didn't seem to have the movement or the ability to hit face there ever.
Right. Yeah.
Potential.
Yeah, I drew the Shadow Katanas too late. I had one, I think, in early game with the multi-strike, but I just couldn't get it off in time. And if I was just able to get 1 unit to stay on board long enough, then I could have used the Shadow Katanas and the multi-strike to end the game. But I just couldn't have any unit survive long enough for me to reach his castle.
Yeah, I was thinking, correct me if I'm wrong, but did you have 2 multi-strikes in the Shadow Katana when Paladin made his initial push into castle?
I think I had 1 multi and 1 Shadow Katana.
Okay. I was wondering, what were your thoughts about taking out that Dark Bender?
I wanted to take out the Dark Bender. I wanted to take out the Dark Bender. I needed to take out the Dark Bender because that's one of his. I'm sure he might have like maybe 20-ish units, something very small in his deck, maybe not even 20. And having a range unit like Dark Bender is very good defensively, and even offensively, especially when you know that he runs the Drain Life, and it can bump that Dark Bender up to a 6/7.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to get rid of that Dark Bender, but the Paladin just didn't have enough attack power to get rid of it, and I felt like I would waste an attack hitting the Dark Bender because I want to kill it anyway, and I had no way of removing it or killing it. So I thought that I'd rather just hit his castle, so that way it would be closer and easier for me to OTK him if it ever came up, which unfortunately it didn't.
Right.
Because if I would have hit the Dark Bender, he would have just, like he did his next turn, move the Dark Bender, hit the Paladin, and then either burn it off or play like a Salahar Rider and kill him.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, did you have a Shadow Katana to bump him past that 4 attack? I thought it might have been in hand, but maybe I was mistaken.
I think he actually had 2 multi-strikes there, not a Shadow Katana.
That might have been the case.
Okay.
Because if I did have the opportunity to kill the Dark Bender, I would have, but maybe in the moment I didn't, but I really wanted to get rid of the Dark Bender.
Yeah,
if I could.
So yeah, for me that seemed like a pretty straightforward game 2 for you folks.
Yeah, seemed like it.
Any comments from you, Red, or you, Tweakin, before we close this out?
Not from me, unless folks have any questions.
Well, it's unfortunate that I went 0-4 the past 2 days, but
It happens. It happens.
it is what it is. Back to the drawing board, back to new ideas, try to figure out how to beat some rats, and now how to beat spells. So
I think you got a 1 though. 1 and
Yeah,
3 out of the past 4.
1-3. We can't all be winners like Yoda. We can't all be undefeated.
Just
We all
because
gotta
I said
learn.
that,
We
I'm
all
gonna
gotta learn.
lose my next match.
Well, boys,
I'm
this
gonna
was
commentate
Tweakin.
that loss.
Boys, this was Tweakin versus RedMaster, and intro done.
And with that being said, guys, I hope you did enjoy today's episode of Casting Conflicts. If you did enjoy, be sure to show it by leaving a like on the video if you did enjoy. Of course, share with your friends. Of course, subscribe if you are new or haven't done so already. This is the best way to show your support to us here on the channel, as well as leaving us a nice comment. Always love to see those pop up every now and then. But with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for me for now. So until next time, stay gaming.